There was a moment in my life when everything seemed against me. Doors were closed, people doubted me, and even my own thoughts whispered failure. I chased, I pleaded, I prayed with desperation, but nothing changed until I stood still, took a breath, and said two words. I, I didn't say them casually. I didn't whisper them in weakness. I declared them, I let them rise from within me, not as a plea, but as a fact. And in that instant, something shifted, not outside me, but within me. And because the within changed, the outer had no choice but to follow. You see, these are not just words, they are the brush strokes of creation. They are the name of the divine in you. When you say, I am, you invoke the infinite power that has always been yours. But here's the secret. What you say after those words becomes your law. If you say, I am tired, life will match it. Say, I am not enough, and the world will reflect lack. But the day I said, I am worthy, I am powerful, the universe leaned in and answered, yes, you are. Everything began to respond. People changed, opportunities arrived uninvited, peace returned like a long-lost friend. Why? Because I had finally assumed the identity of the one who already had what I used to chase. There is no need to strive, plead, or push. The outer world only mirrors what you accept as true within. Your assumption, sustained by faith and emotion, becomes fact. The universe is not against you, it's obedient. It listens to the script you repeat daily. And when you declare with authority, I am abundance, I am health, I am love, you rewrite that script. So I tell you this. Stop asking, start assuming. Stop chasing, start claiming. The moment you stand tall and say, I am, with awareness and feeling, you align with the rhythm of creation. Two words, one shift, a new world. Now ask yourself, what are you saying after I am? Because that's exactly what you're becoming. I am. I am, two of the most sacred and powerful words in existence. Not because of their grammatical significance, but because of the creative force they release when spoken with awareness. These words are not just sounds, they are declarations. They are keys that unlock the unseen. When you say, I am, you are not merely describing yourself, you are creating yourself. Everything in your life begins with what you place after those two words. Every condition, every experience, every outcome first took form when you said, I am, and followed it with a belief. Most people speak these words unconsciously, and that is where the trap lies. They say, I am tired, I am unlucky, I am not enough. And they wonder why their lives reflect weariness, misfortune, and lack. But they do not realize they have sown seeds with their own speech. And now they reap the harvest of those words. To say I am is to claim. It is to take possession. When you declare I am, you are selecting a state of being. And whatever you select becomes your experience, not by chance, not by the favor of others, but by law, the law that governs all creation, the law of consciousness, responds to the identity you assume. If you walk through life saying, I am unloved, life will not argue with you. It will organize itself to reflect your claim. But the moment you say, I am loved, and you feel the truth of it in your bones, the world begins to shift. That is the hidden power of these two words. They do not reflect the world, they create the world. Your world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And the instrument of this creation is the inner speech you repeat daily, especially what you say with emotion and faith. But this is not mere repetition. This is not about saying positive words without feeling. The creative power of I am is unleashed when you say it with belief, when your heart agrees with your tongue. That is when the words become flesh. That is when the invisible becomes visible. The moment you say I am and truly mean it, you have stepped into the role of the author of your life. You are no longer a reactor, you are a creator. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You are the source of new ones. You begin to understand that you don't need to ask the universe for permission. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. You only need to know who you are and declare it. So look at your life, every part of it. Ask yourself what I am statements you've been using unconsciously. And if those statements no longer serve you, replace them. Choose again. Speak life, speak power, speak healing. Say, I am peace, I am joy, I am enough. And say it until the world bows in agreement. So the truth is simple. The moment you say I am, you are planting the seed. And what you plant with feeling, you will soon see with your eyes. Your inner conversation is the architect of your world. Every silent thought, every whispered phrase, every repetition of what you tell yourself after the words I am, builds the structure of your experience. People often believe their circumstances are shaped by luck, by chance, or by the will of others. But the truth lies within. Life is not responding to what you wish. Life is responding to what you assume, especially in the privacy of your mind. The words you speak aloud hold power, yes, but it is the inner dialogue, the unseen conversation, that carries the creative force. If you say to yourself, even silently, I am not good enough, you are setting the stage for a world that proves you right. Your subconscious mind does not judge or question what you feed it. It accepts your inner speech as truth and moves all things around you to reflect that belief. It brings people, events, and situations that echo your internal assumptions. The same happens when you say, I am always struggling, or I am not appreciated. These are not just words, they are seeds. And every seed grows after its own kind. But consider this, just as negative self-talk creates limitation, deliberate and conscious inner speech can set you free. When you repeat, I am capable, I am abundant, I am loved, you are planting new seeds in the soil of your consciousness. These words, repeated often and believed deeply, begin to rearrange your life. They shift your perspective, they tune your energy, they summon a world that mirrors those new declarations. Most people are unaware that they are constantly speaking to themselves. The mind runs a silent monologue all day long, and most of that monologue is critical, doubtful, or fearful. They say, I am tired, I am broke, I am behind, without realizing that these declarations are shaping the events of tomorrow. But once you understand the creative nature of inner speech, you begin to take responsibility, you become mindful. You begin to watch your thoughts the way a gardener watches the soil, knowing that every idea is a seed and every feeling is water. This is not wishful thinking, this is law. Your world is nothing more than your assumptions made visible. You do not need to force change in the outer world, you only need to persist in a new inner conversation. And this persistence must be gentle, not strained. It is not a matter of trying hard, but of assuming quietly, confidently, and consistently. When you go to sleep at night, what are you saying to yourself? That final conversation before you drift off becomes the blueprint for your life. If you fall asleep repeating, I am successful, you begin to embody that identity, and life must reflect it. No one can hear your inner speech but you, and that is where your greatest power lies, in what you say when no one else is listening, because the universe is always listening, not to your public affirmations, but to your private convictions. It is your inner self-talk that forms the image, and that image becomes your world. You can look at your life today and trace every condition back to something you've repeatedly said to yourself, knowingly or unknowingly. So change the conversation. Begin to speak to yourself as someone you love. Speak as the person you want to become. Declare, I am confident, I am free, I am guided, until these words become your second nature. And when they do, watch how your world begins to shift. The people, the opportunities, the peace you seek, they all begin to appear, not because you chased them, but because your inner conversation aligned with them. The truth is simple but profound. Your life is your inner speech made visible. Choose your words with care, because whatever you say after I am, especially in silence, becomes your experience. Faith is not struggle. Faith is not grinding or pushing or proving. True faith is quiet. It is certain. It is alignment, not effort. You do not manifest what you force. You manifest what you become. And becoming begins with assumption. When you align yourself with the end, with a feeling that it is already done, you step into the flow of life rather than fight against it. People often believe that if they work hard enough, strive long enough, and sacrifice more than anyone else, then finally the universe will reward them. But this belief traps them in a loop of endless striving. It reinforces the idea that they are separate from what they want. They keep saying, one day I will have it, not realizing that this very statement postpones the manifestation. Faith does not say, it is coming. Faith says, it is here. Faith feels the result now, and in doing so, collapses time. You do not receive according to what you want. You receive according to what you are in harmony with. And harmony happens through inner alignment. The outer world only mirrors the inner state. If your heart and mind are aligned with abundance, abundance must show up. If your inner being is steeped in peace, the outer world becomes peaceful. The opposite is also true. If you carry the vibration of worry, you will attract more to worry about. If you continually feel lack, more lack will come. The universe is not punishing you, it is simply reflecting you. Faith is not begging. Faith does not whimper or plead. It does not knock at the door of reality hoping to be let in. Faith stands at the door and says, I am already inside. It is the assumption of the wish fulfilled. It is a calm knowing that what you have seen within will surely come to pass. Not by your might, not by your effort, but by your belief. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you enter the state of creation. You bypass the doubt. You silence the questioning. You begin to feel and live from the end. If you want love, feel loved. If you want success, feel successful. You are not pretending, you are assuming. An assumption is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. The effort you once poured into trying, striving, and controlling must now be poured into imagining, feeling, and aligning. Not forcefully, but naturally. As a tree grows toward the light, you grow toward your vision. There is no strain in it. Only trust. Let that be your focus. Not the doing, but the being. Ask yourself, who would I be if it were already done? How would I think, feel, and walk through life? Then move in that direction. Let your inner world reflect that version of you, and your outer world must follow. For faith is not about pushing, it is about becoming. It is not about trying harder, it is about knowing deeper. And once you know, once you feel it in your core, it is done, whether the world sees it yet or not. The universe is not responding to your words. It is not reacting to your desperate prayers, your long wish lists, or your carefully crafted affirmations, unless they are aligned with your true inner state. It responds only and always to your identity, who you are conscious of being. This is the great secret. Your world is your mirror, and it reflects not what you ask for, but who you are being at the deepest level of awareness. You can say, I want to be wealthy, but if your inner talk says, I'm always behind, or I never have enough, then that is what the universe echoes. You can declare, I want to be loved, but if you constantly feel unworthy or invisible, then that is the signal you're putting out, and the signal that comes back. The law is impersonal. It does not care whether your desires are good or bad, small or large. It simply reflects your state of being. You receive what you are in harmony with, and that harmony is determined by your self-concept, your identity. Most people try to change their world by efforting in the external. They chase after money, relationships, or success, thinking that once they attain these things, they will finally feel secure or happy. But this is moving backward. The outside does not fix the inside. It is the inner man, the inner woman that must shift. When you become someone who feels wealthy within, when you assume the identity of someone who is worthy of love, when you carry the sense of a peaceful, confident being, then and only then does the world begin to rearrange itself to reflect that version of you. Your identity is not just how you see yourself, it's how you feel yourself to be. This feeling is what moves the invisible into form. It is your inner conviction that determines the outer condition. You can look at every area of your life, your health, your relationships, your finances, and trace it back to a belief about yourself that you've held long enough to solidify into reality. That belief might have been formed in childhood. It might have been picked up from the opinions of others, or it might be one you unconsciously repeat every day. But wherever it came from, it can be changed. And when the identity changes, the world must follow. Do not try to manipulate the outer world. Do not concern yourself with the how or the when. That is not your role. Your only work is to assume the identity of the one who already has it. Live from that place. Speak from that place. Walk and breathe and think from that place. You must become it within before you can see it without. This is not about pretending. It is not about faking confidence or putting on a mask. It is about choosing to feel as though it is already true and allowing that feeling to settle in your being as reality. Imagine you are wearing the clothing of the person you wish to be. How will that feel? How will that affect your posture, your tone, your thoughts? Step into that version of yourself and stay there. Not for a moment, but consistently, gently, patiently. Keep returning to that identity every time doubt tries to pull you back. Because identity is not a single thought. It is a dwelling place. The truth is this: you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. If you want a different life, do not chase it, embody it. Speak, act, and feel as the person who already lived that life. When the inner man aligns with the vision, the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Everything begins with who you are conscious of being. Change that and everything changes. There is no power in the past. There is no authority in the future. All power resides in the present consciousness. Right now, in this breath, in this sacred instant, the moment you declare I am, you are not speaking about what you hope to be tomorrow or what you regret from yesterday. You are affirming your being in this precise now, and that is where transformation happens. You are never powerless in the present moment. You are never without the ability to choose again. Whatever the past has been, whatever mistakes you believe you've made, none of that has the strength to define you unless you bring it into the now and give it life through memory. The moment you drop it and become fully present, you begin again. Creation begins again. You step into the center of all that is possible, because the present moment is not bound by what was. It is free and it is fertile. This is why I am is the most powerful statement you can make. It is not just two words. It is a declaration of creative authority. When you say I am, you summon the divine essence within you. You awaken the spark of the infinite. And in doing so, you become a conscious creator, not a victim of circumstances or time. You are not reporting a fact. You are issuing a command. You are shaping identity. You are forming the mold that life will pour itself into. And that identity takes shape in this moment, not in your dreams of a distant someday. So many people live in a haze of one day. One day I'll feel confident. One day I'll be successful. One day I'll be happy. But the trap of one day delays transformation. The universe does not respond to I will be, it responds to I am. Because only the present moment is real, the rest is memory or imagination, and those are only useful when you bring them into alignment with what you are choosing now. The power of now lies in your awareness. The more aware you become of your state in this moment, of what you are thinking, feeling, assuming, the more influence you have over what you are creating. If you are unconscious in the present, you are sleepwalking through life, reacting to shadows of the past or fears of the future. But if you are awake, if you are fully here, you can change direction instantly. You can shift states. You can decide I am no longer this and choose again. When you say I am, ask yourself, what am I attaching to this sacred phrase? Am I saying I am tired, I am poor, I am unlucky? Or am I choosing I am whole, I am worthy, I am becoming? Whatever follows I am is not just a description, it is an invitation. It is the seed of manifestation, and it is always planted in the soil of the present. You cannot say I am yesterday, you cannot say I am tomorrow. You can only declare it now, and that declaration shapes your consciousness. And your consciousness shapes your world. This is why awareness of the present is not a spiritual luxury, it is the foundation of power. When you live in the now, you break the chains of habit. You stop carrying the burden of old assumptions. You no longer defer your dreams to the distant future. You realize that you are the dreamer and the dream, and that the canvas of creation is right here. If you want to change your life, come back to now. Sit with it. Own it. Feel the truth that right now you are the author, not tomorrow, not when everything lines up, but here, with what you have, with what you are willing to feel and embody. I am is not just a phrase, it is the door. And when you step through that door with awareness, the entire universe meets you there. Not because it suddenly favors you, but because you finally remembered where the power has always been. Within you, in this moment, in the living now. Imagination is not a child's plaything. It is not mere fantasy or escapism. Imagination is the portal to manifestation. It is the invisible workshop where all visible things are first shaped. Every structure, every invention, every transformation you see in the outer world began in someone's imagination, held long enough, felt deeply enough, and believed strongly enough to crystallize into form. This is the great mystery revealed. What you vividly imagine and accept as true must eventually appear. Words alone do not create. Words filled with doubt, spoken from a state of fear or lack, carry no power. But when you say the right words with conviction, words that align with the image you hold in your mind and the feeling you accept in your body, then unseen forces move immediately. You are not asking for something to happen someday. You are impressing upon the creative field the structure of what already is, building it in consciousness. And the universe, obedient as always, reflects it. The imagination is the eye of God within you. It is the divine faculty by which you see beyond what is and glimpse what can be. And not just glimpse it, enter it, live in it, embody it. When you imagine something vividly, and do so from the end, not as a wish, but as though it has already occurred, you shift your state of being. You stop looking at the desire as something outside of you, and instead become the one who already possesses it. That shift is the secret key. For once your state changes, reality has no choice but to conform. Imagination is not passive. It is not daydreaming. It is creation. It is choice. You must choose the image you will hold. You must choose to persist in it even when the outer world shows nothing yet. Especially then. Because what is seen is always the echo, not the cause. The cause is your internal state. Picture yourself living in the outcome you desire, not hoping for it, not waiting, living in it. Feel the scene around you. Hear the sounds, smell the air, see the light in that new reality. What does your posture feel like there? How does your heart respond? Let it be real to you, not someday but now. This is how you bridge the unseen and the seen. You let the imagined experience become more real than your current circumstances. And as you do, something begins to move. The world reshapes itself to reflect what you have dared to claim inwardly. This is not magic, it is law. Every time you vividly imagine and feel something to be true, you are planting a seed in consciousness. And like any seed, it will grow, not because you force it, but because you trust it. You water it with repetition. You nourish it with belief. You protect it by refusing to contradict it with fear or doubt. And then you wait, not in anxiety, but in confidence, knowing that what you imagine with faith is already yours, even if the evidence has not yet arrived. Do not misuse imagination by rehearsing worst-case scenarios or repeating mental images of failure and lack. What you imagine, you magnetize. The law does not distinguish between good or bad, wanted or unwanted. It only responds to what you vividly believe. So discipline your imagination, turn it to your ally, make it the sacred space where your future is crafted with care and trust. The greatest secret is this: when you align your words, imagination, and feeling, reality bends. It must. The outer world is clay in the hands of your inner vision. So imagine well, imagine boldly, imagine lovingly, and do so as though it were already done, because in the realm of consciousness it is. And what is real there will soon be real here. Imagination is not preparation, it is creation. Use it wisely, and you will see that unseen forces do not delay. They respond in kind, instantly and faithfully, to the world you dared to see within. So now you understand. Your words, your assumptions, your inner conversations, your identity, your present awareness and your imagination are not just abstract ideas, they are the very tools of creation. They shape your world not someday, but now. The two words "I am" are sacred keys, and what you attach to them becomes your lived experience. The universe is not working against you. It is waiting for your clarity, your conviction, your inner alignment. Once you stop trying so hard and start being, everything changes. You don't chase. What's yours begins to seek you. You don't beg, you assume. You don't worry, you trust. And that trust is the evidence of your faith, the sign that you are no longer a servant to circumstance, but the conscious creator of your reality. Everything responds to who you are in consciousness. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. And the moment you declare fully and faithfully, "I am," you set the entire universe in motion to reflect your inner state. Let this be the moment you choose boldly, speak deliberately, and imagine vividly. You are not here to struggle. You are here to remember who you are. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being present. And most of all, thank you for daring to believe.